Hello guys, welcome to this IG live. I hope you can hear me. You can type I can hear you if you can hear me. And please feel free to tell me your name and the city you're joining me from. I have a very special guest that do this. You can rarely find Pastor Badru on Instagram, but I got him to do this one. I probably will post that I'm the only one that I've ever got him to do this.
Absolutely.
How are you, sir?
Very well, God is good. Where in the world are you?
I'm back. Funny enough, I'm back.
Really?
I got back last night. Yes.
Amazing.
I got back last night. How are you doing today?
Nice to have you back.
Thank you. Did you go
No
to
wonder the
Nigeria?
weather. Yes, I was in Nigeria. I was in Ibadan most of the time, but then Redemption City. And then I
Yeah.
came back last week as well.
Wow.
Just
Welcome.
recovered from jet lag now.
Yes, I can imagine. Welcome. Thank you for doing this. I know this is not your normal Instagram is not your normal thing.
I don't know, but I'm here.
Yes, you're here, and it's good to have you. It's good to have you.
Thank you,
So,
sir.
so I want to start. Who is Pastor Tunde Badru? Because, of course, those of us in Houston, everybody knows you, but there are people all over the world joining us. So let's get to know you.
Well, in brief, by the grace of God, I'm the pastor in charge of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, the King's Palace, Katy in the Greater Houston area in Texas, United States of America. Married to one wife. It's been 29 years. Folashade Badru. She turned 55 last Sunday. It was a huge celebration.
Wow.
It's been a blessing. Been together for 29 years as husband and wife. My background is I grew up in a Muslim home, and my father was expecting the youngest imam in the family. But God, God is smarter than man. So I hijacked that agenda, and today, by God's grace, I'm a different imam.
You are really a different imam.
Yes, but God bless us with a miracle child after waiting for 23 years.
Wow.
It's a testimony we love to share at every opportunity. It's the faithfulness of God that He will always come through. Doesn't matter what the issues are. My background is mechanical engineering by degree, School University of Lagos. A trained chartered accountant, HR professional, banker, consultant. I've done quite a lot of stuff, but above all, I'm a child of God.
Absolutely. Above all, you're a child of God. And so I'm curious. Let's talk a bit about waiting for 23 years. How was that? How did you manage, even First Lady? Because you may not be worried, but I'm sure First Lady will have been so worried about what's good. How did you manage that 23 years?
Well, I think, one striking thing that I could say, one of my senior pastors visited, I think, when we were 20 years in the journey of waiting. And he looked at the two of us and said, "Today, shall they see me in my hotel?" Into a room. So I went to the hotel room. We thought we did something wrong. He said, "Hey, I just want to let you know that you move on as if life is normal, just waiting for these 20 years. And let me tell you what's going on. You are under a massive grace, and so the weight of waiting is not dropping on you. Make sure you don't leave that canopy, because when you leave and the weight falls on you, then you know." So I didn't know whether to laugh or to cry. So, but I got the message. When if you have done tooth extraction before or any surgery, and they cut you, the only reason you are not screaming and crying is that there's anesthesia. So you're not feeling it. When God is taking you through a journey, of faith, and you enjoy His grace, what looks like heavy weight of pain and sorrow and shame will not descend on you. Not that it's not there, but you
Yeah.
don't just, you are numb. You don't just feel it. And when you feel it, then God gives you additional anesthesia. And one day I went to do this tooth extraction and the thing wasn't enough. So I said, oh, and then they gave me more and then it calmed down. So
Yeah.
whenever you feel it and you want to cry and say, Lord, what's going on? Then it gives you a bit more grace and then you can stay there. Yeah, so that's what I can say. I don't think it's anything anybody can boast about.
Mm.
We had those moments, of course. You wake up in the morning, Sunday morning for that matter, you have a power meeting where people heal and deliverance and fruit of the womb. And that morning you thought your wife was pregnant, and then she started building that same money. But you have to go to church because you can't cancel the meeting. So you
Mm.
go there and you just trust, you trust God. But for me, I think in all, we're all waiting for something. Abraham had to wait. I mean, it's as if people that love God so much, had to wait. God said, Abraham is my friend. How can your
Yeah.
friend be waiting like that?
Yeah.
Mary and Martha are very close to Jesus, and then the brother was sick, and then you delayed, 2 extra days until the man died. I mean, what kind of friend is that? But it's as if God is saying, prove to me that you're my friend. I mean,
Yeah.
is it more than, having this and having that? So I tell Christians that we're all waiting for something, either waiting for
Mm.
financial breakthrough, having to get
Mm.
married, or waiting for children and all that. The common denominator is that we must, place the love of God above anything we are waiting for. And then, like Sarah said in Hebrews 11, you must, judge him faithful, that he
Mm.
has more than enough power to give you whatever you're looking for. So I think the grace of God is all we need for anything that we are waiting for.
Wow. Wow. That's very powerful. First of all of us are waiting for something,
Mm.
and that's very true. And so we lean on His grace till we get what we're waiting for Him for. But for
Mm.
those who are watching this or those who watch later, who might be trusting God for the fruit of the womb, are there like two, three things you would advise them to be doing while waiting?
I think it's important. Technology has moved, medical health has, advanced a lot. I think you must first even check what's going on. If you want to pray, you must know what the prayer point is.
Yes.
So, see the doctor, let them tell you, is something okay with the womb? Is the sperm count all right, etc. At least that's the starting point. And you shouldn't wait. We waited 5 years before we, try to even find out what's going on. After 12 months of sleeping together, as husband and wife, and nothing has happened, just go check. It might be a minor thing that they need to do, maybe a surgery on fibroid or something not positioned well, or something to improve the sperm count or something. So don't just wait. Go
Mm.
and find out. Now, when
Mm.
you find out, then they tell you something. Whatever they say to you, the doctors are trained, they have certificate, they are licensed for the job they do. Now, okay, you might say, I don't, that's not my portion. I don't believe it, but at least you know what you're not going to pray about.
Yeah.
Now, the options are many these days. There's the option of IVF. Listen to them. I've had Christians say, no, that cannot be of God. Well, there are several things that you have to reject then. You have to reject so many things, to say that medical science is not of God. But
Yeah.
above all, I think Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him. We will direct your path. For some people will approve that you do IVF, and by all means, I don't see anything wrong in that. For some people, say don't waste your time. It doesn't matter how well Zachariah and Elizabeth fasted and prayed. They were not going to have John the Baptist earlier than 6 months before Jesus, because that has
Yeah.
been arranged. So there are moments when God is just trying to prove Himself, but He will speak to your heart. But don't just wait there crying. Then listen to other people's testimonies. I mean, we listen to a lot of people's testimonies. When you hear that somebody has been married for 23 years, oh my God, my own is just 3 years. Okay, God can do my own. Testimony begat testimony.
Yeah.
I think those are the main thing to do. And then love people. Don't be sad when other people have their own children. Rejoice with them that rejoice, because your day of rejoicing is coming
Mm.
soon.
Mm. Powerful. And that's very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. I wanted to go into the conversation on pastoring. Can you share briefly with us how you got called into being a pastor? And I will segue from that to your unique ability to build a sustainable ministry. But let's start with, how did God call you then to be a pastor?
Okay, to be honest, I mean, when I gave my life to Christ, like I said, my background is, I was born in Muslim grove. So when I gave my life to Christ, I wasn't looking for religion because I was done with religion. Islam is religion for the most part. I mean, you do your thing in the morning, 5 times a day, and all of that. So I wasn't looking for religion. It was a time in my life where I felt some emptiness. People had died in the family. Back then, as young as 10 years old, they will call the name of somebody, and then you answer your name, and then the following morning the fellow died. So my parents were very, very afraid. They didn't want us to die. The first child they had died, and then they had me. So of course they didn't want this one to die. So they took us to a man that I grew up to know as Alpha. That's what they call him. All right. So he gave us incisions in the 2 ears, myself and my immediate younger brother, I think my sister at the time too. And so that when they call you, you will not hear with these incisions. So, but not long after then, Alpha died. And I asked my parents, what killed Alpha? They said they called Alpha and Alpha died. So, so as long as I knew that, oh my God, there has to be something, there has to be something more. So finally, when I gave my life to Christ, so the mystery around, God's power and the mystery around the supernatural, I was very interested because I saw it in the dark world. I saw it, with the witches, with the wizards that were around the family at the time. So I wasn't going to be a regular Christian. I wasn't just going to go to church and come back. So I began the study of the word. I wanted to know everything. I questioned everything. I went to every school available. I was in Bible college. I was in the School of Deliverance and Healing by the, Reverend Oyo at the time. I went to School of, Prayers, Reverend Anosiola. I mean, I just wanted to know everything. Of course, Daddy Gio, my father and the Lord, Pastor Yadeboye, if you know anything about him, he's full of supernatural. For him, his experience as well, he came in and he wasn't going to be a regular Christian, a regular pastor. So the hunger, was there. And that's when the time came, I was just in regular service. I wasn't even ordained. I was just a regular brother. And then my church at the time, the congregation was about around 700, so they needed to start a new parish. And so I was to start a new parish. That's how the thing would normally be. However, the same week I was to start the new parish, my senior pastor was now promoted to be area pastor because somebody left a big church to come to the US. So they looked around at, so who are we going to use? They just call me one Tuesday and say, Brother Tune, you are going to be the pastor of this church. So pastoring for the first time, my congregation was 698.
Oh, wow.
My wife was 29 years old. I was 34. So we're very young. We have all we've done up to that point was, teenage pastor and all of that. Then you have this big church, Day Spring Parish in Port Harcourt. But God helped us so much. In only 13 months, I mean, we built what you can call a cathedral. I mean, the building is still there, Stadium Road in Port Harcourt. And then moved from there, became area pastor. But at that time, I was by vocation. I mean, working for Schlumberger at the time. At some point, I was chief accountant and HR manager at this time. And then, so the time was approaching when I was due for cross posting. And so that night, God came, in a dream, and then, came with a rod. You can call it like Moses' rod. And I said, I'm sending you to a far country. This is your staff of office. And I took it from him, and I woke up. I woke my wife up and said, far country, did you ask him the far country? I said, no, I wish I did. Just a far country. But anyway, the long and short of that, because we waited another 18 months, I believe, after that, revelation, and then we arrived in the United States. And so when we came, here I knew that, okay, this is not just Lumberjay cross posting.
Mm.
It will be God's assignment. So we're waiting on him and trusting him. And a remarkable thing that happened was finally when we got a location, because we started on the same location we've been from day one. God gave us this 6.23 at the time, so it's over about 10 acres now. At that time, it was only one tiny building, building 952, no signpost, nothing. But then I was just walking and thanking God that we just came. God has given us this land, etc. Then a 72-year-old Caucasian, gray hair, came on that property and he saw me and he looked at me and said, please come here, young man. And I went to him and said, can you tell me that a church just bought this land? I said, yes, we just signed about 3 days ago. He threw his hand up, said, praise the Lord, praise the Lord. I said, what happened? He said, I was born in Katy. I'm 72 years old now. God told me that a church from Africa is coming to this land. But
Wow.
everybody bought the land, but not a church. So when
Wow.
he turned 72, I think about 2, 3 months prior, he asked God that you told me a church from Africa is coming here. When are they coming?
Wow.
And God said they are around the corner. He now said
Wow.
every week he will come to see if there's a black African man on the land. So he
Wow.
saw me. Once he finished narrating the thing, he put his hand on my head, spoke in tongues, and then, we embraced, and then he left. All right, so that was, multiple confirmation that God has
Yes.
sent us here. So I started pastoring in Nigeria before coming here, but for on this assignment, it will be 20 years, April of next year by God's grace, and God has been truly good. So yeah, I think the hunger coming from all the major challenges that I saw growing up, the exchange of power between forces of darkness and light, and now that I've tried everything, I've died, they call him, I've seen all kind of crazy things. So I was just so hungry that, Lord, I don't want to be just an ordinary Christian.
Mm.
Use me to demonstrate your supernatural, encounters in the lives of people. I believe God saw that hunger and he came in my dream, handed over a staff office to me and told me, I'm sending you to a far country.
Wow. This is powerful. And I mean, the other day I was at the church property and you took me around, and I couldn't just but be in awe of what God has done through your hands.
Thank God.
It can only be God. It can only be
Thank
God.
thank you.
One of the things, I wanted to ask is how, when you started that, how did you evolve? Because one of the things I noticed was, yes, there's the place of the supernatural, but there's also that apostle in the marketplace dimension to what you do. And I could sense it also in the life of members of the ministry. I mean, they are very business conscious. How did that dimension evolve?
Well, thank you very much. I must say, first and foremost, and I will then go to answer your question. And I came into Redeemed Christian Church of God knowing that I'm planted in this mission, and there
Mm.
is nothing that happens that will take me out of this mission. So I didn't stray into RCCG. God planted me, and so the very first thing I must say is that the grace of the covenant over RCCG, for me, I recognize it from beginning. And
Mm.
so my determination, my commitment is to stay under that covenant,
Yes.
very dutiful, loyal, faithful, and just follow, almost, without questioning anything at all,
Mm.
whatever they've asked us to do. Number two, Father and the General Pastor, Pastor Adego, the flow of grace from him, even to the people I can call his secondary children, people that are not redeemed, but, children of daddy all over, you
Mm.
know, when they connect closely to that grace, they draw many, many things, from him. And so that is very foundational and very fundamental to
Yeah.
every other thing that I would then say.
Mm.
But having said that, I believe that everything that God will use us for, we begin with a dream. Joseph had a dream. It was a
Yes.
massive dream. Himself did
Mm.
not even understand the implication, of
Of
the
the
dream.
dream.
That's why
Mm.
he just shared the dream and, he just sent everybody. So I dream a lot. I
Yeah.
dream of great things. Some of them I couldn't even share because either they will not believe me. They say this guy's crazy. What are you talking about? So I dream. I dream a lot. And if you know anything about Daddy Gio, he's a dreamer as well. He dreams
Yeah.
of some almost impossible thing.
Yeah.
However, I realize that I can't do many things. There are things that I can do, few of them, but I do them very well. But I know people who can do what I don't know how to do.
How to do.
It, it doesn't take me time to move, therefore, from my dreams to assembling doers.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
People that are gifted in the many things. So I get those people very quickly. I empower them. I, whatever it is that gets it in done,
Whatever they
I
need.
just
Yeah.
they just run. Now I jump to my next area of gift, which is drive. I'm a very good driver. So once I position all the doers, these guys that can do many stuff, you know, then I move into driving. This is where we are going. This is where we are going. Your speed is good, but you're flying off. Let's come this way, So I enjoy the driving so much because I know the end of where we are going with this. So
Yeah.
the grace to assemble doers, and I'm very secured in letting them fly as I fly.
Yes.
And so by the time we all land, the result is the work of about 20 people instead of the work of result that one
One
person can
person.
generate. So when you look at, I always tell people in Exodus 17, it was a big battle for Moses and Israel in the wilderness, and the Amalekites came to them, and then Moses will raise his hand up. He's a dreamer. He knew this promised land we are headed, but he knew he cannot go. He can't fight. He couldn't fight as much as Joshua and Caleb.
Yeah.
Send those guys to the. You guys go fight. He lifted up his hand. Each time he lifted his hand, Joshua was winning. They were
Yeah.
winning down there. And then when he was tired, then Aaron and Hur, they put up his two hands up. Eventually, they won. At the end of the day, you find out that nobody can really beat his chair. We all won. That's what Moses will say. Joshua, well done. Caleb, well done. Aaron, well done. All well done. So these have been my template. The dreams come, massive stuff, but also I have a lot of resources around me. It's as if there's a magnet, that people just come around, and these are people with greatness. They might not be able to dream as quickly and as sharply as I would dream, but once I cast the dream, some of them even in a 5 minutes meeting, bam, they're ready. So let's go. Then I go to the driver's side, then I get the driving going on, and then once you drive, you get to delivery. And delivery is never the work of one person. Delivery is 20. Imagine what 20 great minds can do compared to one great guy who is trying to do
Mhm.
stuff on his own.
Mhm.
So I think this has been, and the same thing that Adigio does. When you look at, many of the ministries around, I mean, I don't have too many of them who allows their pastors to find expression like that. That you find you as a talent, it gives you, you just run,
Yeah.
go and do. Whether you are in Redeem, whether you are somewhere else, once that you find grace and talent, it just allows you. So it allows many people to do many things. And so you see Redeem everywhere. You are going to Egypt. When you get to Egypt, go and start a parish. And then in that place, you are the apostle of Egypt. When you get to Australia, okay, go and start Redeem. You are the apostle there. And this is how Redeem has gone everywhere. So
Yeah.
in my mind, in summary, I always recommend to great leaders. An average leader will dream. You dream, but don't carry that dream alone. Don't even keep it in your chest alone. There are people that God had put around. Jesus could have done the work alone, but he assembled 12.
Yeah.
And he empowered them. He sent them out, empowered them. When he was going, he said, "I won't leave you alone. I will even give you the help that will help you." This
Oh.
template work and it work wonders.
Wow. So I've tagged this the 4 Ds of Pastor Tunde Badru: dreaming, doing, driving, delivery.
Yes, sir.
You know, but I hope I'm permitted to teach it one of these days. I may not.
Anytime,
I may not give
anytime,
you the
anywhere.
credit. I will not give you the
Anytime, anywhere.
credit.
Anytime.
But it's really powerful. Dreaming. doing driving delivery, and how leaders must master not just dreaming, but they must master driving.
Mm,
A lot of leaders want to also be the one doing after
mm,
dreaming,
mm,
and how we need to bring people together
mm.
to do it. But how do you then manage? So two questions in one. One, how do you manage the excesses of the doers that you've brought together? Number two, how do you avoid a situation where the doer, gets arrogant and feels, well, I'm the doer now, should be, So how have you managed this over the years?
Well, when you look at the ministry of Jesus, he understands each of the 12. Is it not surprising that Jesus will not leave his mother with Peter? When he was on the cross, he looked at all of them. He said, "Mother, behold your son." He was pointing to John. And then say, "Hey, son, behold your mother."
Your
Now,
brother.
if he had left the mother with Peter, the mother would
Yes.
have suffered, because Peter is very, very unstable, very restless, he doesn't think too much before he speaks. He just want to get things done. So you must quickly understand your Peter, your James, your John. But Jesus was so sure of who will preach at Pentecost. He knew it couldn't be John. He has to
Mm,
be. He has to be a Peter. There's
mm,
no other way. The temperament, the personality of Peter is what you will need at Pentecost. And became so clear to all of them that even when Peter and John got to Beautiful Gate, John was not struggling on who to lead that miracle. It was Peter that was speaking. When the lame man was not getting on, it was Peter that yanked him up. John was there. No struggle. Now, so what I do very quickly
mm,
is what you call, selection. In HR, it's called selection.
mm.
And selection meaning getting the right person, for the assignment.
Yes.
It takes a bit of experience over time,
Mm-hmm.
but also you must overcome, emotion or sentiment. It
Mm.
cannot be because this guy is from is my uncle's son, is my
Yeah.
cousin or whatever. No, it has to be, based on careful understanding of the different persons.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put you plug the right person in the right assignment. However, people don't do, what you expect. They do what you inspect.
Hey, people
Right?
don't do what you
What you
expect. They do
expect.
what you
They do
inspect.
what you
Oh,
expect.
this is powerful.
So in your driving skill as a leader, inspection is important. Feedback is important. So all our ministry leaders are empowered in their domain that we have given them to do. But once in a month, we have to come on what I call leadership council meeting, where your exploit in the last 1 month, you tell us. you know, so what you want to do in the next 1 month, you tell us. That is in that we see how you present it. When you are now beginning to think it's you're even now the fourth man of Trinity. then we know that we need some teaching here. We need some counseling. And then we call you. And then we do some one-on-one Bible study. and,
I
and
like that.
help to realign you a little bit, and so on and so forth. So, but I also think that part of the issue is that leaders must understand that honor is both ways.
Mm.
As they honor
Honor
us
is
as
both
leaders.
ways.
Yes, we must honor, loyalty. We must honor people in our teams that are going far and above. I mean, we must give credit. As a matter of fact, we must let them take the credit for some of these things, because then they're encouraged, to do more. But when the leader is only one that wants to be seen, and the effort of the people are not recognized, in fact, it's only their mistakes that we amplify, then we run into issue. So yes, I think the summary of that answers that question. Selection is important. No emotions, no sentiment. You have to give the right person. It's not the oldest person. It's not get the right person there. But they will not do what you expect. They will do what you expect. So the inspection is important. Then, of course, you must get feedbacks that is very regular. And then you observe the temperament they build. Because people succeed, like you were saying, sometimes it gets to people's head. It
Yeah,
used to be a Bible study, teachings, it becomes very important. And then you
yeah.
also must lead by example. I
Mm,
mean, they see your humility as you get going that look,
mm,
we are not here yet. Apostle Paul said, I cannot myself to have apprehended this one thing I do, forgetting the things that are behind, reaching forward to the things that are ahead. Because, when you begin to celebrate too early, then it gets into the head of your team as well. But when they
very
know that,
true.
why are we thank God for where we are, but we have not
Yeah,
started. Though. We are,
yes.
the journey is still very far. Everybody stays humble, and then we can do.
Wow, wow, wow. Come on, guys, can we celebrate Pastor Tunde Badru? I kind of feel this is just an introduction. We need to probably do I need to fix a leadership masterclass with Pastor Tunde Badru. We need to do that. Yes, you have
At your
to create
service,
that. Yeah, you have to create that time for us because
at your
this is
service.
this is really my notes is already getting full.
We thank
As
God.
I'm listening,
We thank
this is
God.
really beautiful, really beautiful. Ministry work is a bit tough in diaspora, the UK, US. Most people don't know I pastored for 16 years. I started pastoring from secondary school. And I'm still an ordained pastor in my local church.
Mm.
But and I've seen it all. Pastoring people. Before I focus on full-time business, I'm not a full-time businessman.
You are an
But
apostle. You're an apostle in the marketplace.
exactly, I'm posting the marketplace full-time.
Yeah, full
You know,
time.
and it gives me a healthy respect for pastors because something you've done and you know what your eyes saw.
Mhm.
You you have healthy respect. Um, but in this part of the world, it's a bit tougher. I've seen pastors really struggle. In fact, in those days, I mean, when I used to come to the US, different ministry wants me to preach. But it used to be a burden because I use my money to fly down, to lodge myself, to go back wherever I'm coming from, and then you get $200 honorarium with plenty prayer. I be like, you know, but this doesn't pay the bills. I'm not asking for anything, but I mean, let me pay
Yeah.
my bills.
Uh-huh.
So if at some point my management said no more preaching for churches in the US. No more. No more. No more. So, but how have you been able to, and what's the lesson for younger pastors who are struggling um, to financially build the ministry in diaspora, whether in Canada, in the US, in the UK? How do they build a ministry that can pay her bills, that can be self-sufficient? How can they do that? And how have you been able to?
Well, I mean, if you ask me, you know, I believe very strongly, and I need to situate this very well so that people can apply what I'm about to say, very well. I believe strongly that the church should not rely only on the tithes and the offerings
Mm,
of the people of God. Tithing is in the Bible. I believe in it. I've tithed from the beginning. I preached it. I mean, tithe is the minimum. The apostles, they lay everything at the feet of the master. For me, it is still very huge. However, there are, particularly in diaspora, there are spaces that people have that Monday through Saturday, they do nothing in there.
Mm.
And they show up on Sunday. And when you pay your mortgage or rent or whatever, they don't care whether you are there on
They
Monday
don't.
or Tuesday. So
They don't.
once I got that, I said, look, this place we call Children's Church Corner, Monday through Saturday, we have nothing on it. So I did a research on how we could start a daycare.
Mm.
So research everything, put it together, register it, Redeemer's Learning Center. Called my wife. I said, look, you have been in children ministry all your, Christian life. You're going to be direct. Initially, I said, no, I mean, eventually she agreed. Now, we ran that daycare in our children's church for 8 years, and they grew to, well over $1 million annual income in that
Wow.
children's church space. And now, so we bought an adjoining land where they have built, their own main building. Now they are definitely $2 million plus, in annual income. They have their own permanent, building there. Now imagine if Monday through Friday we left that space,
Yes.
and to
Yeah.
doing nothing. I will
Yeah.
still have to pay. I will still have to pay the bank, but I had nothing on it. So there are many idle spaces that people have like that. So while that was going on, we had some extra land, and so we decided to get into sports ministry. And so we registered a sports academy.
Mm.
Of course, in America, soccer is growing, but sports in general. So we created the academy, so parents start bringing their children to do the academy. So the academy started making money, and then we began to now say, let's do indoor sports also, because when it's winter, people can't play outside. So
Yeah.
we built an indoor sports. And, the indoor sports on a monthly basis was generating about 7, about 21,000 dollars, a month. Now, this is not like overnight thing, but at least, we move from level to level with that same mindset
Yeah.
that we can create opportunity for people to come for recreation,
Mm.
but they will pay FPS and pay, young women Christian fellowship or men's fellowship, and so in this place as well, we give them a decent pricing, and
Yeah.
then we service them, and then we can make money. Then we started music academy. Now, music academy, because many churches don't have instrumentalists and all of that. When you see our orchestra and our music academy and all of those young people, they came in there. In fact, the children themselves are now junior instructors, and they
Wow.
are earning some income. So they come to church, not just because mommy said I should come. In fact,
Mm.
there's an interesting story of one of our young teenagers. The dad wanted him to follow him to Dallas one day and said, Dad, 40-year-old, my students will be waiting for me at the academy. If I finish my class, then I can go with you.
Wow.
Because
Wow.
I'm going to miss my income for the day. The point I'm making is I think, church should have what I call entrepreneurial harm. So we
Mm.
have a ministry that we call Entrepreneurial and Professional Network Outreach, where professionals come together and share thoughts, give themselves tips around different things. But that's a ministry side, but also the actual operations of business becomes something that I think churches should get involved with. You may not want to do daycare, but there's something else you can do. You may not want
Mm.
to do indoor sport like we are doing. There's something you could do. You may want to do music academy, sports academy, and all of these things. But so we have developed entrepreneur initiative within the ministry arm.
Yes.
Now, for those that may worry about taxes, how do you cope with the taxes? Well, you just have to separate, your UBIT, your unrelated business income taxes, from your church, so so you don't commingle them. So
Yeah.
whatever tax is due to government, you pay government the
Okay.
taxes. And you're exempt on your tithe and offering. Of course, you keep that. And so that way, let's say the economy is bad and people are not making, because people have to pay tax out of their income. So if
Mm,
they lay people off, there's no income, so there's no tithe. At least you
mm,
have businesses that will not go down because people will still have to, do different things that you supply. Daycare is
mm,
daycare. Whether
yeah.
there is job or there's no job, I say in America, you have to take your children, to daycare. So I think my response to some of the solutions, to church management, finance management, is to have what I call multiple streams of income.
Mm,
Now, on the church side of things, tithes and offering, God has helped us as a church because we are very, very transparent. So if we're doing a fundraising for building or something like that, every single Sunday, we'll tell them how much we have received, what we have done with it. We present accounts to the church.
yeah.
So when people see where their money that they give is going to, they want to give more. That's what I've observed. So you cannot ask people to contribute for something and they don't see the thing. So if you tell them we want to build indoor sports, in no time they see the building, they see what's going
Mm,
on there. If we tell them we want to put, we want to do daycare, they see the daycare. You want to do so. When you tell people about the project we are going to embark on, be very open, be very transparent. We have what we call Gala Night every year, and that year we present the annual account of the church. We show about the balance sheet, the income statement, our cash flow, and everything, so that people can see, with the money that we have, that they've given us, what we have done with it. I noticed that I've encouraged people to want to give more,
mm,
right? So I think on the tithe and offering side, let's be transparent. Let them see what exactly we're doing with it. When they see it, they want to do more. We are going on missions. While we are in the mission field, we are sending video home. This is what has happened on the mission field. We
mm,
come back and give the account of the contribution for the missions. And this is the outcome of your money, what we use it for. We discover that people want to do more. So on the
mm,
ministry side, I think transparency. Don't manipulate people. We have something to do. Offering time in our church is 2 minutes. It's offering time. Don't just go there, get your offering ready. There's no squeezing and whatever. You want to do a new building for young adult church. This is the reason we need a building for a young adult. This is how much it's going to cost. We need down payment of $500,000. Let's begin to do it. Every Sunday we show them we have 20,000, we have 50. Until we got the 500,000, we show them every Sunday. And then when we close, we came with the video of the closing document. This is the closing document. This is how far we go. So when you're very transparent with people and let them see why we need to do what we need to do, more than likely people are reasonable. If I belong here, I should participate in giving. But
mm.
that's one side to it. The second side is the entrepreneurial side. There is something you can do as a church, whether it's a bookshop, whether it's a restaurant, whatever it is that can bring additional income. I think pastor should get to. And pastor doesn't have to be the CEO. I'm not the one in charge of. I've told you I don't do so. I just find someone who is a marketplace fellow. And these people are very happy because they enjoy to do this what they are called for.
Yeah.
We are too used to conventional ministry in church, choir, ushering. We have some names that you will not believe. I have CEO in charge, chief operating officer. I have business managers, and they are ministers. But those are
Wow.
not conventional church names. So there has to be
Wow.
an entrepreneurial side of what we do, because then we can generate income that can then support the tithe and offerings.
Wow. Wow. This is deep. Come on, guys. Can we celebrate Pastor Tunde Badu for sharing this? Because uh, and a lot of ministers will be liberated from this, and I'm sure people will soon reach out to you about how this has been a blessing. Because there are not too many. Some people are doing what you just taught, but they don't share it. So you have other ministers really struggling and say, we don't know how this is working. You just see Pastor Tunde is just expanding, everything is just. How do we, you know? But what you've shared today is really, really powerful. How
We thank
has,
God.
yes, how has that direction helped the members who are also entrepreneurs? How has the decision you made to create a business arm of the church? How has it helped you to also raise a lot of entrepreneurs in the church?
Well, in many ways, I think many people have fears around what they think they should be doing because they don't know whether it will fail or succeed.
Yeah,
So when they see, that well, this is working, first of all, it builds up their own faith that
true.
it can be done.
Yeah,
And number two, we have conferences almost on the average a quarter. On every quarter, there's something going on. At the end of this month, we have what we call Healthy Wealthy Conference.
wow.
Right. Yeah, so we're going to be having Dr. Harris, will be coming, Sajoko Tade will be coming, and then they sit down with people, they do, small group session with them,
Nice.
okay, share your vision, let's see, we can help you with this vision that you have. That builds their confidence. For many years, I was always trying to get into the schedule of dentists. I didn't realize I have many dentists in church until we began to bring businessmen together. And then
Wow.
finally I said, oh my God, you are a dentist? And then, now you take your dresses to other dry cleaner, laundry places. Meanwhile, you have, people with that business in church. So by the time we
Okay.
bring all of these people together, then we can even patronize one another in what
Okay.
we do. There are many churches that you don't even know what people do. People come to church Sunday and then they go. So I think pastors need to assemble professionals and business into one form fellowship or the other. You can call it whatever name, but bring them together. Let them, share notes. Let them compare. Many people lost opportunities during COVID, and many got a lot of money during COVID.
Mm, mm,
People
mm.
don't even know what to register, whether to
Yeah.
register LSC or whether to, so, but when, when you come together and share this, it becomes something very, very huge. I mean, these are things that pastors shy from, especially traditional, conventional. It looks like, are we doing business? And, but you know what Jesus said in Luke chapter 2? He said, should I go to my father's business? There's business in the Bible.
Yeah.
In fact, the Bible is, it's talk about profitable servant.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I think people should not shy away, from um, the world business. I think we've allowed the world to intimidate us, that church is not business, and it's semantics. You have
Mm,
businessmen and businesswomen in your church. Many of
mm,
them lack the wisdom on what to do.
mm,
I mean,
mm.
Joseph did not perform miracle like Daniel. Joseph did not fight any lion. Joseph did not spend the night. But Joseph is a business, his business acumen. The guy showed up in the palace. He gave the guy a business model on how to run this thing.
Yeah.
He ran the headquarters of the world in terrible famine successfully. So there are people with that gifting, and we must encourage, business acumen development, in the church. So on the average quarterly, we bring, businessmen, entrepreneurs, Christians, of course, who can share wisdom with our business, people and so on and so forth. So once you see the church is open to it, they're encouraged to get into it as well. And then
Mm.
everybody begins to create wealth. The church is better for it. Of course, the members, are also becoming more prosperous for it.
Powerful. And what you said is really rich because I've asked, why, and I mean I've had to ask my Indian friends, my Jewish friends, and this will lead me to my next question, about how they collaborate more. And I said to them, I said, what I have heard from my own people, people of color, why we don't collaborate is that, I was cheated, I was scammed, I was, betrayed, something. And so I asked them, I said, is it that you guys don't have those experience? Is it that, you don't do business with a fellow Indian or a fellow Jews and, something goes wrong? How come, we don't hear those stories? And most of them, the answer is almost the same, which is that when we do business with a fellow Jew or a fellow Indian and he betray our trust, we stop doing business with that particular, Indian. But we don't give up on the entire Indian race. We don't generalize it and say all Indians are scammers, all Jews are, we just, isolate that situation. I will look for another Jewish or Indian person to do business with. And I've then realized that many of them leverage. One of my partner here, we're doing some over $3 million transaction together. He's an Indian man. And one day he took me to all his assets, well over $200 million, landed properties,
Mm.
and he has over 20,000 acres in Texas alone.
Wow.
You know, because I said, how are you getting your funding? He says through his temple, the Indian temple. He said we're just 80 of us, and temple, my people in the temple. I said, you mean 80 of you in the temple were able to invest
Mm.
and build this? He said, yeah.
Mm. Mm.
In how many years? Barely 10
Mm.
years. He's built it.
Mm.
And that really got me thinking that if we're going to do this, the pastors will have to play a role because they still have grip
Mm.
on the people, you
Mm.
know. So, two questions in one again. Why are pastors scared of this? I know maybe it's because of the drama. Some of them are probably, try to support certain businesses and it failed. Maybe, but you can help us understand why. Number two, how can we replicate this? Because if the Jewish temple are doing it, the Buddhist Indian temple are coming together, building businesses, supporting each other. But we don't seem to see that with the body of Christ. In fact, some gossip in entrepreneurship or people mocking an entrepreneur for failing or for biting too much. It's such people. Sometimes even fellow pastors that say, we don't mind it. Why is he biting too much? Who sent
Mhm.
him message? Why is he taking that kind of risk? He should have just gotten a job and humble himself. So how do we get this as a body of Christ to begin to champion this kind of message?
Very, very, very good question and very touchy too, because that was what ignited something in my spirit some perhaps 12 years ago,
Mm.
when an Igbo Nigerian Catholic heard that I'm the pastor of the King's Palace and that I came from Islamic background. He came. He came with Bible and Quran on one hand and on the other hand. And he came and said, I'm a Muslim now. I used to be Catholic. I'm a Muslim now. And I'm surprised why you left Islam to become a Christian. And he wanted us to get into some debate where he will really convince me otherwise. I said, okay, don't let us fight. I don't mind visiting you. Give me your, your address. So he gave me his address. I got to his house, and then some people who were calling on the other line and they were speaking Arabic to these guys. I was curious how an Igbo Catholic, became a Muslim. He had grown his beard. So finally, when I settled in his house, he said, look, I used to go to church a lot. I belonged to church. My business failed. And then people in church laughed at me. They
Yeah.
embarrassed me and all that. Then I saw these Egyptians. And they said, well, we can help your business up. And then they supported me. They helped my business. They only said that I must become a Muslim, however, if I want to continue to prosper. So that's how I became a Muslim. Now I could understand why, with all respect to my Igbo brothers, now I could understand why an Igbo Catholic can become a Muslim, because his business was helped up.
Yeah.
Of course, I ministered to the guy, trying to say, well, there's dimension to financial prosperity, but then your soul. I mean, preach to him and all. I say, well, I heard you, you know. Then I left. But on my way, I made up my mind
Wow.
that I'm going to gather our brethren together and start. At that time, I call it Business and Professional Forum. Before we brought the outreach dimension to it, I explained to them that if Egyptians, Muslim, could, because of business, platform, they were able to get an Igbo Catholic, and I'm saying Igbo Catholic. If it is Catholic because in the southwest of Nigeria, we have Muslim brothers and all of that. But Igbo, if he's a Catholic, he's a Catholic. So even get him to, he said, there's nothing, business opportunities let's expand our outreach to include business, entrepreneurship, and things like this. That was how we started. But immediately, the challenge you are describing started coming up that, Nigeria, don't trust ourselves, these people now. There are 2-3 issues we have. An average person in our community, both in the church and Nigeria for that matter, believe is smarter than the other person.
Exactly.
And so even though we are doing stuff together, all this thinking is how to outsmart this guy. Number 2, we worry about who gets the signature.
Yeah.
Who's the chief? We must know the chief. We can't just say us. We must know the chief. And so we have missed several opportunities, things that you won't find in the communities that you describe. So my own approach, one is awareness like this, meetings like this, bringing people like yourself, other entrepreneurs, people that have seen it all in that domain, to just speak to people's heart and conscience and see what we are missing, what we are losing. You can even lose your salvation in the process, of all of these things. Now, the second thing, is to, address even people's spirituality. I mean, if you are not a Christian, if you are trying to undermine your brother or undermine your sister, what kind of a Christian are you to start with? So there are too many people in church who are not in Christ, because you can be in church and not be in Christ.
Yeah.
So teaching people to be true Christians will help us to rise above trying to cheat one another or trying to undermine one another. I think finally, in my mind, is to get things started. Now, a pastor may not be a shareholder in the business they are doing, but at least you can help people envision, the opportunities that are there by bringing professionals who can speak, to the subject.
Yes.
And then, support the people. You also know people in your congregation, who they are, their spirituality and all that, to kind of, align people of like minds that you think can do things together. And then observe them very closely, to see when things might be going wrong. I know why a pastor doesn't want to, get into it, because of course, I mean, you have the ministry to protect first of all, so you don't want any scandal that gets you there, and I understand that, and I respect that, and I'm like that myself. However, it's important to create that education. It's important to bring people, other Christians who are succeeding in what they do out there, and share their stories and challenges, and help us understand the power of collaboration.
Yes.
And the fact that you find a Nigerian or somebody from Africa somewhere who is a fraudster doesn't mean all of us, are fraudsters. I think it has to be a continuous conversation. That's why this kind of meeting, it's a tight schedule for me today. Well, once I'm done here now, I'm going to Austin. I'm going to run to Austin. But I understand, your platform. I understand your passion for what you do. We've not met for a very long time, but I've known of you for a very long time. And I like when people are very focused on what they are doing and so on and so forth. So I just felt, okay, look, this I think we reach many in our community, and the multiplier effect can be really huge. Of course, I will learn myself, and then we can keep this relationship, going. So in my mind, I think when we continue to have this kind of conversation, we begin to reach a few, maybe not all at a time, but at least we begin to reach. And when Nigerians, when you see something succeeds, either a method or or a process, everybody
that job
runs into it. Yeah. So that's what I think we need to do to overcome this. But you are right; it's a reality and a very painful one.
Powerful. Guys, if you are getting value, just say we're getting value, I'm getting value. I'll just ask 2 more questions and then we can wrap up for the day. Incidentally, Dr. Harry is also on his way to come and see me at home. I'm glad to know.
Tell him that we love him at the King's Palace.
I will tell you. I will tell him. Um, two more questions.
Sure.
One is number one is how have you been able to relax? What have you, because there's so much responsibility on you.
Mm.
And it can be a bit lonely in this part of the world, you know. How have you been able to put it all together, and also knowing that you had had to trust God in the first in 23 years for the fruit of the womb, and
Yeah.
you were having all these things going on. How have you been able to keep it all together?
Well, very, very early, I realized that everything that I have to do must be on two broad headings. The third is mine about two broad headings. One, must do, the things I must do. Second heading, the thing I should do. Now, many of the times, what takes all of our time is what we should do. And it then kills what we must do. And then you are just miserable. Now, I give you an example. I was going to Canada once, and I was going to run a training, and I packed all my stuff, my laptop, obviously, my toilet bag, and all this stuff. I should pack those things.
Mm,
But I got to the airport. I did all my should, but there's one must. So the lady asked me, I need your ID, sir. And I gave him my driver's license because I've gone to Baltimore, Boston, and those areas, and I didn't need my international passport. But for a moment, I forgot I was going to Canada. So I didn't take my passport. Now, my passport on that trip was a must do, but I didn't have it. I did all my should do's. So the lady says, sir, you are traveling international, I need your passport. So, oh my God, I didn't have it. I didn't travel. But do you know, if I didn't have my laptop, which I should have, but if I didn't have it, I would have traveled and I would have survived because they would have just sent me my slides. My wife would send my slides to me. I'll use it on the laptop in Canada. If I didn't carry my toilet bag, I would still have traveled. Now, many of the times, we don't identify what is must do for us. So
mm,
in managing all of the several things, I put them, what are my must do? Things I must do. What are the things I should do? So I pay attention to the things I must do. And then whatever time is left, I go to the things I should do. And if
mm,
I don't complete the things I should do, I will still be fine.
mm,
Because I will now prioritize the next time. Maybe that becomes my must now.
mm,
But I'm not going to do everything I should do, only to leave one thing that I must do out. Many of the times we spend energy and time on the things that looks like I should do this, I should do this, I should do this. Have you asked yourself the one or two things that you must do? To get going in life, I spend a lot of time on the things I've described as must do. So I know when it's family time, family holiday, and it doesn't matter what's going on. It
yeah.
doesn't matter, whatever, that's a must at that time.
Mm,
Any other thing is should for that time. I know the time for my personal retreat. And when I do personal retreat, you can't even get me on the phone.
wow.
Because at that time, that is my must do. I know the time I just want to sleep because my body is telling me you're overusing me. And when I sleep, even if you beat drum, near me, I'm not going to wake up because I've conditioned my mind to sleep at the time. So I identify my must and then I get my should under it. Now, then I jump on and the moment I finish my must, my energy is high and I could do a whole lot more, even with my should. So that has been something that has been very, very helpful to me. So at the end of the day, you don't see me ruffled. But of course, I delegate almost to a fault. So when I delegate to you, if you are coming back to me, don't come to ask me question on what. Come with three options. I have these three options. So which one do you think? I say, okay. So what do you think is problem to number one? Number two? At the end of the day, you are going to find the answer. Because I think my head is too small to, so I delegate a lot, a lot. Right from my days in the corporate, delegate a lot. But I also coach a lot. I
Yeah.
like to teach people. I like to teach people a lot. I mean, it has saved me many, many times.
Wow.
Just something I've taught somebody, and now I'm not available to do that thing because I was traveling. And say, but I taught you that time now. Yeah, try it now. I'm sure you can do it. So I coach a lot. I teach people a lot. I pour myself into people a lot. I duplicate myself, and in many areas, so that when I don't feel like doing that, I don't have time to do it because I have a must do. I have somebody that will do that thing,
That
maybe
can do
80% of what I would have done, and that thing will still be done. To be
it.
honest with you, in the doing area, I don't, because the leader is not the guy who does things. The
Yes.
leader is the guy who gets things done.
Come
You
on.
know, and it's very different. So the leader gets things done, but it doesn't have to be the one doing it. So, I have many people who are doers around. Maybe they will do 60% of what if I would have done it by myself, but that's
Mm.
always good enough. It's always good enough for starting. By the next time the guy will try it, he will push to 80. And then you find out that there are many things around you. If you come to my table now, it's very clean. Anytime you get to my table, I don't have fire like that. I don't have fire like that. Because there are just some things in life that you must do. But if you focus on the things you find after you have done all your you should, the one must do, you have not done it, and it cancels everything. Imagine me, I didn't travel on that occasion. So now, way before any trip, my passport is somewhere in the bag that I know I must carry. Now, if I forget any other thing, my belt, my socks, or whatever, I will be fine. So it's the same thing in life. Wake up on a Monday and say, what must I do? That's what the one must I must do. If nothing else happens, this I must do. Give it attention. My should is a very long list, but who is in my team that can do this thing 50%? I tell him to do it. You find out that you'll be more effective, you'll be fresher. But you can only do that when you are not looking for glory, when you're not looking for your name, your signature. When you're not looking for your signature on everything. So if you are ready to make sure that we win, not I win, then you can get more people line up to do the things that you don't have time to do.
But in our culture, this is not my last question, but just a addition to this. In our culture, people like to hold the leader. It's Pastor Tunde that I know. It's Pastor Tunde that is the head. It's Pastor Tunde I must deal with. How have you been able to handle that? Because yes, even when you're trying to delegate as the leader, the pioneer, the founder, whatever title, people are always very attached, and some even feel offended when it's somebody else having to handle some things. It's like, oh, can't he do it himself? But there are those of us in business, I get a lot of that. Oh, can't, or what does it mean? Why is it you? Like, I don't do anything. It's not my job. My job is just like you, is to dream it. Okay, we want to build this empire, and I create problem for my leaders, and they go do it. But sometimes when you're telling people, they don't want to believe that's your model. They think it has to be you. You must be the one. So how have you handled that or navigated it?
No, no, no. I mean, and you're absolutely right. That happened all the time. For me, I think I project people around me a lot. I project them. I mean, sometimes we go for meetings and they think I'm the one to take a lead in that thing, and then I put the fellow is the one that is speaking around it, and then say, oh, you mean this guy knows this much? And I will go there and just say a little. I'm building. I'm throwing that guy there. That look, if you want to get this thing done, this really is the guy to do it.
Yeah,
Like I'm saying, I mean, with everybody listening to me now, they already know now that okay, all right. So maybe if I need this pastor, maybe maybe there are people around him. I better find people around him. And truly, very
yes,
honestly, there are some things that I don't have immediate answer
true.
myself. So when you come
True.
to me and say, hey, so I quickly call somebody. So Pastor Igwe, Brother Tune, this thing that so this guy said, oh, I told you I didn't want. I said, see that guy I called. That guy I called is the
Is the
custodian.
one.
It will take a longer time with me. Over time, I believe people will get used to it.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
throw people the first time to just say go and meet so. The first time I will, but that first time it will be so clear to you
That,
who is the doer.
exactly.
This thing. So once I link you, they don't come back after that. And my team understands that you have to deliver when people come to you almost
Yeah.
at the level I will deliver. So that way they don't need me. And you
Yeah.
are the one, they need.
Mm.
So culturally, traditionally, people want to deal with the head. But over time,
Exactly.
we must push back on that because you're only one person. It's just so much, there's so much that you can do as well. And you must admit that. So
Mm.
respectfully, you let people see that, look, I lead this thing, but I don't know. There are many things I don't know. I'm serious. And I deny myself some, I don't have the keys of some places intentionally. So that, so that, that's why I has the key. I will call, oh, that guy has the key. And I'm telling you something. Next time, that's the guy that you really need to go and meet because if everything revolves around me, I can't do much.
Exactly.
And there are so
Exactly.
many dreams that I need to drive, so I can't do more. So I need to have to let people know. No, and once people know it, then they're happy. In fact, after a while, they enjoy the people better than even coming to
Exactly.
me.
Yes. Wow. Wow. This is good. This is good.
Uh,
Final question, so I let you go. I hope you are promising me that we'll do a physical version of this. Leadership masterclass with Pastor Tunde Badra. Are you assuring us a
Oh no, no, no!
physical?
Of course, I can assure you of that. Look, it's the kingdom work is very big, and collaboration is huge. There are many,
Mm.
many people you have blessed in what God has called you into. So in my mind, I think whatever we all can do to expand, this work is what we should do. I'm very kingdom minded, in terms of what we do, whether in the marketplace, whether church meetings or whatever it is.
Mm.
As a matter of fact, it's my approach to life altogether. Relationship is huge. It's the biggest currency. It's stronger
Right.
than pound sterling, stronger than dollars or any currency. So for me, you can be sure, especially when it
Mm.
is something very profitable and rewarding in terms of how many people we can impact. There are many people that just need a little push, a little idea,
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
knowledge, and you find them 5 years later. They say, "Oh, I was in that conference. That thing you told me." One day I was flying to, I think I was going to Lagos, and I got to, it was Amsterdam,
Yeah.
and then somebody was, I met somebody who had become a big guy, started his own business. He said in 2002, you taught us something from Rich Dad Poor Dad, and da, da, da.
Yeah.
I just went to work the following day. I told my manager, look, you have been messing me up here. I'm out of this place. I started something. And then guy, now I have 5 companies and all of that. So I say, I praise God and all that. So when we got into the plane, somebody was eavesdropping somewhere around the place. So the plane was not full. So we're about maybe 2 hours to landing. So the guy came and said, sir, can I sit down next time? I want to. So I said, what was it you told that guy in 2002? So I said, which guy? He said, oh, one guy, and I was listening to. I said, So I sat down. So I did. I went through the thing. And then not long after then, the guy relocated to Houston, called me that I'm the one you spoke to on KLM flight. I said, where are you? Then I went to, and then finally became a member of our church where he was staying. The pastor there was, it became a very big relationship. So you never just know conversations like this. You have no
Yeah.
idea,
Yeah.
how far it could go. And that's why for me, I'm committed to things like this. It
Thank
is
you.
it's definitely one of my must do's when the
Thank
opportunity
you.
comes.
Thank you for that. My last question would be, how have you handled some of the toughest season of your life? You know, when things, when it looks as if nobody understands the vision, nobody understands, yes, you are sharing, you're trying, but it just looks as if it's those lonely days. How have you managed those seasons when it looks as if God is silent? How have you managed those seasons?
I must admit that there are difficult moments of life, but There's never a time that we should be alone, even though we can be lonely.
Mm.
Um, and so I think the very first, cheerleader that I have is my wife on many things. So the most difficult time that I can remember, and I don't think there's been anyone, was when I needed to quit my job as I turned 40 in
Wow.
2006. Now, I was on course posting, and I was HR manager of Technology Center for Seismic Business for Schlumberger. It was great. I could go back to Africa, either South Africa or Nigeria, to become the group HR. That's the plan on my career path. I could move back to finance. There are just so many options. And then, yes, God had given us the land to start the church, but I've always been bivocational, so it wasn't going to be a problem. I was working, but God said, no, you're going to stop. Now, I didn't know how to tell my wife because she was doing her certification in education at the time. So how am I even going to, we are the one paying the mortgage for the land of church. City of Katy had not allowed us to start because they needed us to do special help. They said we stay almost 11 months. So
Wow.
things were just going on. When I was paying mortgage in my house, just the pressure was on every side. But I was suffering throughout 2.5 months. January, I kept everything because I didn't know how to tell my wife. Anybody that I told thought I was crazy. You want to quit your job? God is talking to you. Can't be God. I can't. So where are you going to? How are you going to survive? So I stopped talking to anyone. And in that moment, Sunday night, my chest is like stone put on my chest as if life was going to get on my life. I can't forget. It was African Cup of Nations 2006. It was Egypt that hosted. I would get to my office, HR manager. I will lock the door of my office. I will watch 2 matches. Meanwhile, I have people that are supposed to transfer from different places. And after watching the 2 matches, you would think I would get to work. God took away all the passion, for that job. So finally, when it looked like this boy, he just died. So 1 a.m. in the night, I wrote my resignation letter. Then I tapped my wife and I said, honey, I didn't know how to tell you all this why, but look at this. I showed that list. And I said, I've been watching. I want you alive than to die. If this is what it takes, then tender
Yeah.
resignation. We're in this together.
Yeah.
It was like one big weight. So from that moment, I discovered that in your worst moment, there is one
Yeah.
person. I
Oh,
mean,
that is.
that you can. So on that occasion, my wife was, the angel, and many of the times she has been. And so in marriage, I tell people that let your marriage include sharing your vision, your bad moments, your good moments together. Now, if somebody listening to me might say, "Well, me, I don't have a marriage like that," eh, that cannot. It's not that bad that there is no person somewhere, except you are bad yourself. As we are all growing up, we must be relationship authentic,
Yeah.
genuine relationship.
Yeah.
That Elijah almost he was going to commit suicide in First Kings 19.
Very
It
true.
was in fact the only servant that was with him. He asked him to just you go. And he alone sat there. He said, God, kill me. I'm the only one. Kill me. I'm the only one. I'm the only one. I'm not better than my father. Just kill me at once. God had to say, Oga, you are not the
Yeah,
only
not the
one.
only one.
You are not the only
Daddy.
one. They began to tell, okay, go and anoint Israel, go and anoint Jehu, go and anoint Elisha in your room. You mean there are people? Yes. So we all have one person. We are not made and framed and designed to go through those moments alone. There
Mm.
is always one person per time that can be an encouragement. So at that moment, Elijah got encouragement. He revived and he walked to Horeb and then got Elisha. They worked together for a long time. In fact, was able to pass the anointing on to the person. So I think building authentic relationship, people that you are not ashamed to cry when they
Yeah.
see you cry.
Yeah.
Sometimes pastor is not supposed to cry, but pastor must have somebody when you really want to cry, like you can really cry, and the fellow will not look at you and say, "Where's the anointing? Why are you crying?" There has to be somebody, because that's where you can then recover, and then you face life again.
Oh, guys, can we clap for Pastor
Oh,
Tunde?
thank you very
Please,
much.
everybody, give it up for Pastor. Thank you. I know this as, come on, if you guys should express your gratitude to him. I know many more will still watch this. For those of you joining us late, you can watch it all over again. Share this with so many people. Thank you. I'm so grateful that you shared this. This is really, really powerful. This
We
is
thank God.
powerful. Thank
We
you,
thank God.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, then till I come your way or you come my way next time. Can I say bye for
Appreciate.
now?
Yeah, bye bye, bye bye. Thank you, sir. Have a
All right, I
great
have to
day.
go to Austin. One of our daughters is, doing some big stuff, trying to become a doctor. So we want to go and
Nice,
encourage her.
nice. That's
Yeah,
good. That's
she's
good.
one of our great daughters in church. We are so
Wow.
proud of her. So
Wow.
she's waiting to have me sit down and she walks the aisle. So I want to go and support and encourage her.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much,
Congratulations.
sir. All
Regards
right,
to
so
that.
bye. And I sign out
Bye
from
bye,
here.
sir. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Sure.
Everyone, so I hope you got value. That was Pastor Tunde Badru of the King's Palace, Katy, Texas. Powerful message, and I really want you to share with so many people. There's so much they're going to learn and get value. Don't forget, Saturday 23rd and Sunday 24th, we're having the Business Growth Conference here in Houston, Texas. You don't want to miss it for anything in the world. Dr. Cosmos Maduka will be there, myself, and several powerful speakers. We're all going to be there. You can visit www.businessgrowthconference.org to register. You can attend physically if you're in Houston, or you can join us virtually for the conferences. It's really going to be a life-changing conference, going to be very, very impactful. It's holding in Houston, so JW Marriott's Galleria Houston is the venue we're using for the conference. So don't miss it. Myself, Dr. Cosmos, and several other entrepreneurs. We have a panel on doing business in the US. We have another panel on AI, the future of AI, and we have another panel on real estate investment. So it's going to be great. So again, if you're not in Houston, you can attend the event virtually and learn. But did you get value today? If you got value, kindly type, I got value, I got value, I got value. How have you got value today? Okay, if you got value with the discussion with Pastor Tunde Badru, type, I got value, I got value, I got value. Okay, love you all and have a wonderful, wonderful day ahead. And remember to share this powerful video with others as they learn powerful lessons on faith and leadership. Love you all. God bless you. Bye bye.